December 18th, 2019. Sarah Mitchell was the kind of person who lived for Christmas. Her apartment in Portland was decorated by Thanksgiving. Her playlist was nothing but carols, and she'd been planning her annual gift exchange party for weeks. 23 years old, living alone for the first time, she wanted everything to be perfect. The rules of her gift exchange were simple. Everyone brings a wrapped present worth around $30. You draw numbers, and when your number is called, you can either unwrap a new gift or steal someone else's already opened present. It's a game that brings out the competitive side in people, the laughter, the playful arguments. Sarah loved it. But this year, something went wrong. On the night of the party, 15 people showed up. Sarah had counted the gifts twice, 15 wrapped boxes under her little Christmas tree, all different sizes, different wrapping paper. Everything seemed perfect. The game began around 9 p.m. Number 1 was drawn by Sarah's coworker, Marcus. He chose a small box wrapped in silver paper with a red bow. Inside was a nice bottle of whiskey. Everyone approved. Number 2, number 3. More presents opened, a board game, a set of fancy candles, an expensive coffee mug. Then came number 7. Sarah's friend Jessica reached under the tree and pulled out a box that Sarah didn't remember seeing before. It was wrapped in old yellowed newspaper, the kind you'd find in an attic. The tape was brown with age, and the whole thing had this smell, like mothballs and something else, something organic. Whose gift is this?" Jessica asked, wrinkling her nose. Everyone looked around. No one claimed it. "Someone's being mysterious," Marcus laughed. "Open it." Jessica hesitated, then tore the paper. Inside was an old jewelry box, wooden and carved with strange symbols. When she opened it, a melody began to play. But it wasn't any Christmas carol Sarah recognized. It was discordant, unsettling, like the music box was broken. And inside, sitting on faded velvet, was a single photograph. Jessica pulled it out and her face went white. This is my grandmother's house," she whispered. The photo showed an old Victorian home, decrepit and abandoned. But in the window of the second floor, barely visible, was a figure, dark, watching. "That's the house where she died," Jessica said, her voice shaking. "We had to clean it out last month. How did someone get this photo?" The party had gone quiet. Sarah tried to laugh it off, suggesting it was some kind of prank, but no one was smiling anymore. They decided to continue. Number 8, number 9. But then came number 12. Another box appeared under the tree. Sarah was certain it hadn't been there before. This one was wrapped in the same yellowed newspaper. Her friend David picked it up. "Okay, seriously, who's doing this?" Silence. He opened it. Another wooden box, identical to the first. Another broken melody, and another photograph. This time, it was David's childhood bedroom, but the photo was recent. You could see his current belongings in the background, his laptop, his jacket on the chair. And in the corner of the room, in the shadows, that same dark figure. "I need to leave," David said, standing up abruptly. "This isn't funny." But when he went to the door, it wouldn't open. The deadbolt was locked, but Sarah's key wasn't in it. She kept it in a dish by the door, and now the dish was empty. "Everyone check your phones," Sarah said, trying to stay calm. "We'll call someone." But there was no signal, not on anyone's phone. 15 people, 15 dead devices. That's when they heard it. From Sarah's bedroom at the end of the hall, that same discordant music box melody, playing on its own. They moved as a group toward the bedroom. Safety in numbers, right? The door was closed. Sarah never closed that door. Marcus reached for the handle, then stopped. "Do you hear that?" Beneath the music box melody, there was another sound, whispered, like someone counting. 13, 14, 15. The door swung open on its own. Sarah's bedroom was exactly as she'd left it, except for one thing. Sitting on her bed, arranged in a perfect circle, were 13 more boxes, all wrapped in yellowed newspaper. And in the center of the circle was one final box, larger than the others, unwrapped. It was a mirror, an old ornate mirror with a tarnished silver frame. Against every instinct, Sarah approached it. In the reflection, she could see her friends behind her, their faces pale and frightened. She could see her bedroom, her Christmas lights still twinkling cheerfully, but she couldn't see herself. Where her reflection should have been, there was only that dark figure from the photographs, and it was smiling. "Sarah," Jessica's voice came from behind her, strangled with fear. "Sarah, turn around." Slowly. When Sarah turned, her friends were backing away from her. All of them, their eyes wide with terror. What is it?" Marcus pointed at the mirror. "Look at what's standing behind us in the reflection." Sarah looked back at the mirror. In the reflection, behind her gathered friends, stood 15 dark figures, identical, motionless, each one positioned exactly where a person had been standing during the gift exchange. "The gifts," Jessica whispered. "We opened the gifts, all 15 of us." 14, Sarah corrected, her voice hollow. "I never drew a number. I never opened." The lights went out. In the darkness, that music box melody played again, louder now, closer. And then, one by one, Sarah heard her friends scream. When the lights came back on 3 minutes later, Sarah was alone. Her apartment was exactly as it had been. 15 wrapped presents under the tree, 15 cups of punch on the table, 15 coats hanging by the door. But no people. Her phone had signal again. She called the police, hysterical, telling them her friends had vanished from her locked apartment. The investigation went nowhere. There was no evidence of anyone else being in the apartment that night. No fingerprints, but Sarah's. Security footage from the building showed her entering alone at 6 p.m. and never leaving. Her friends' families filed missing persons reports. Searches were conducted. But 15 people don't just disappear into thin air. Sarah was questioned for weeks. Some people suspected her. How could she not know what happened? She was there. But eventually, without evidence, they had to let it go. Here's the thing that kept Sarah awake at night, though. The thing she never told the police. After that night, she started receiving Christmas cards. Every year, on December 18th, 15 cards arrive at her door. No return address, no postage. Inside each card is a photograph. The photos show places she knows, her parents' house, her new apartment, her office. And in every single photograph, if you look carefully at the windows, at the mirrors, at the shadows in the corners, you can see them. 15 dark figures, watching, waiting. Sarah doesn't celebrate Christmas anymore. She doesn't attend parties. And she never, ever participates in gift exchanges. Because sometimes, the gift you receive isn't meant to be opened. It's meant to open you. Pinewood Mall was dying. Like so many shopping centers across America, it had been hemorrhaging stores for years. By December 2021, only 8 businesses remained in a building designed for 40. The food court was down to 2 restaurants. Most of the corridors were dark, their empty storefronts like missing teeth in a rotting smile. But every Christmas, Pinewood Mall tried. They erected a Christmas village in the center court. Nothing fancy, just some artificial snow, a plastic sleigh, and a throne for Santa Claus. They hired a Santa every year, someone willing to work for barely minimum wage in a nearly abandoned mall. This year, they hired a man named Edward Thorne. The mall manager, Patricia Hayes, conducted a brief interview in early November. Edward was in his late 60s, white beard, genuine enough, a bit quiet, a bit odd, But when you're desperate, you don't ask too many questions. He had one unusual request. "I'll need to arrive before the mall opens," Edward said. "And I'll leave after it closes. I don't like to be seen in costume outside of character." Patricia thought it was quirky, but professional. She agreed. Edward started work the day after Thanksgiving. For the first 2 weeks, everything was normal. Kids came to see Santa. Not many. Pinewood wasn't exactly thriving, but enough. Edward was good with them, patient. His ho-ho-ho was a bit unsettling, a bit too deep, but kids didn't seem to mind. Then came December 12th. A mother named Rachel Drummond brought her 5-year-old son, Tyler, to see Santa that afternoon. The mall was nearly empty. Their footsteps echoed as they walked toward the Christmas village. Edward was in his chair, motionless, staring at nothing. "Santa!" Tyler called out, running forward. Edward's head snapped toward the boy with mechanical precision. For just a second, Rachel could have sworn his eyes were completely black. But then he smiled, and they were the normal blue eyes she'd expect from a mall Santa. "Hello, little one," Edward said, his voice strange, almost layered, like two people speaking at once. "Come tell Santa what you want for Christmas." Tyler climbed onto his lap, excited. "I want a new bike," Tyler said, "and a video game, and—" "What you want," Edward interrupted, "and what you deserve are very different things, aren't they?" Rachel stepped closer. "Excuse me?" Edward's smile never wavered. "Has Tyler been naughty or nice this year, Mother?" "He's been wonderful," Rachel said, uncomfortable now. Tyler hit his sister last week," Edward said. "Didn't you, Tyler? And you lied about it." Tyler's face went pale. "How did you—" "Santa knows," Edward whispered. "Santa sees everything, every lie, every cruel thought, every moment you think no one is watching." Rachel grabbed her son and pulled him away. "We're done here." As they hurried toward the exit, Rachel glanced back. Edward was still sitting in his throne, motionless again, but his head was turned completely around, watching them leave. His neck shouldn't have bent that way. Rachel filed a complaint with mall management. Patricia assured her she'd speak with Edward. But when she went to the Christmas village, he was perfectly normal, apologetic. He claimed he was having an off day, trying to be more authentic with the naughty or nice tradition. Patricia let it slide. They couldn't afford to hire a replacement this late in the season. But the incidents continued. December 14th. A 7-year-old girl named Emma sat on Santa's lap and asked for a dollhouse. Edward leaned close and whispered something in her ear. The girl started screaming. When her parents asked what he said, she wouldn't tell them. She just cried and said she didn't want Santa to come to their house anymore. December 16th. A teenager came to take an ironic photo with Santa for social media. Edward grabbed his wrist when he tried to leave and said, "You should call your grandmother before it's too late." The teenager laughed it off. His grandmother died in a car accident that night. December 18th. A mother brought twin boys to see Santa. When they approached, Edward looked at one of the twins and said, "Only one of you is supposed to be here." The mother was furious, but as she dragged her children away, she couldn't shake the memory of her difficult pregnancy. How doctors had told her she was carrying twins, but one had vanished in the womb. A vanishing twin. How could he have known? By December 20th, word had spread. Parents were avoiding Pinewood Mall's Santa. Patricia knew she had to fire Edward. She waited until closing time, 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. The mall was empty. She walked to the Christmas village, rehearsing her speech. Edward was sitting in his throne, still as a statue. "Edward," Patricia called out, "we need to talk." He didn't move. "Edward." She approached slowly. The Christmas lights cast strange shadows across his face. When she was close enough to touch him, his eyes snapped open. "Patricia Hayes," he said in that layered voice. "Born September 3rd, 1978. You stole a bracelet from your best friend when you were 12. You never returned it. You told her it was lost." Patricia's blood ran cold. "How do you cheated on your husband," Edward continued. "3 times. He never knew. He died thinking you were faithful." "Stop it," Patricia whispered. "You put your mother in a care home to save money for a vacation. She died alone, calling for you. Who are you?" Edward stood. He was taller than she remembered, much taller. His Santa suit seemed to ripple as if something was moving underneath. "I'm exactly who you hired," he said. "I'm the man who sees you when you're sleeping, knows when you're awake, knows if you've been bad or good." His hand reached up and removed the fake beard. Underneath wasn't a face. It was a void, a swirling darkness with eyes that multiplied and blinked independently, a mouth that opened too wide, showing row after row of teeth. "The tradition is older than you know," the thing said. "Before Santa Claus, before St. Nicholas, there was Krampus, the Shadow, the Punisher. For centuries we were divided, the light and the dark, the reward and the punishment. But humans," it hissed, "humans only wanted the light, only wanted the gifts. So the darkness was pushed down, forgotten, locked away in stories to scare children." The creature stepped closer. Patricia tried to run, but her legs wouldn't move. Until someone is desperate enough to open the door, until someone asks the wrong thing into their home. A mall manager, perhaps, who posts a job listing without thinking about who might answer. "What do you want?" Patricia managed to whisper. "I want my season back," the creature said. 24 days, December 1st to December 24th. I will sit in this throne and I will see every child, every adult who comes to me, and I will know their sins. And on Christmas Eve," its smile widened impossibly, "I will collect." The next morning, mall security found Patricia unconscious near the Christmas village. She was unharmed physically, but something was wrong with her. She couldn't stop muttering about shadows and teeth. She was institutionalized a week later. The mall closed permanently on January 4th, 2022. But here's what kept me up at night when I researched this story. I found Edward Thorne's employment records. I found his application. Under previous experience, he'd listed 17 other malls across the United States. I looked them up. Every single one closed within a year of hiring him. And in every single one, there were reports, strange incidents, children having nightmares, parents seeing things in the shadows of the Christmas village. I tried to track Edward Thorne himself. No social security number matched. No address existed. No history before 2015. It's like he appeared out of nowhere. And if you're wondering if he's still out there, still applying to dying malls and desperate managers, 3 weeks ago, I got an email. Anonymous sender. No subject line. It contained a photograph. A new mall Santa, sitting in his throne in a shopping center I recognized. One about 40 minutes from where I live. And in the reflection of the glass behind him, just barely visible, was that same swirling darkness. Those same multiplying eyes. The photo was dated December 1st, 2025. He's back. And if you've taken your kids to see Santa this year, if they've been sitting on his lap, telling him their wishes, you might want to ask them if Santa said anything strange, because he's listening, and he's making his list. December 23rd, 2024. That's 2 nights ago, if you're watching this on Christmas Eve. Michael Jang lived alone in a suburban neighborhood outside Seattle. 34 years old, software developer, recently divorced. This was his first Christmas by himself, and he was determined to make the best of it. He decorated modestly, a small tree, some lights on the porch, nothing excessive. He'd bought himself a nice dinner, planned to video call his parents on Christmas Day. He was okay. He was managing. At 8:47 p.m., his doorbell rang. When Michael opened the door, he found 4 people standing on his porch. 2 men, 2 women, dressed in Victorian-era Christmas clothing. Long coats, scarves, top hats. They were holding candles and sheet music. "Good evening," the woman in front said with a warm smile. "We're spreading Christmas cheer through the neighborhood. Would you like to hear a carol?" Michael was surprised but charmed. "Oh, sure. That's really nice of you." The 4 carolers began to sing "God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen." They were incredible. Their harmonies were perfect, their voices rich and clear. Michael found himself genuinely moved. It felt like something from another time, when Christmas was simpler, more connected. When they finished, he applauded. "That was beautiful. Thank you so much." "Our pleasure," the woman said. "Merry Christmas." They turned to leave, walking down his driveway toward the next house. Michael watched them go, smiling. Then he noticed something odd. In the fresh snow on his lawn, there were no footprints leading to his door. Only the footprints they were making as they walked away. Michael closed the door, unsettled but trying to rationalize it. Maybe the snow had filled in their footprints. Maybe he just hadn't noticed them in the dark. He went back to his living room, tried to focus on his movie. 20 minutes later, the doorbell rang again. When Michael opened it, the same 4 carolers stood on his porch, same positions, same warm smiles. "Good evening," the woman said. "We're spreading Christmas cheer through the neighborhood. Would you like to hear a carol?" The exact same words, the exact same inflection. "Didn't you just—" Michael trailed off. "I mean, you were here 20 minutes ago." The carolers stared at him blankly. "This is our first visit to your home," the woman said. "Would you like to hear a carol?" Michael felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold. "No, thank you. I think I'm good." "Are you certain?" one of the men asked. His smile never wavered. "It's Christmas." "I'm sure. Merry Christmas." Michael closed the door quickly and locked it. Through the window, he watched them stand on his porch for a long moment, not moving, not leaving, just standing there, staring at his door. Then finally, they turned and walked away. This time, Michael ran to his window and watched them approach his neighbor's house. He saw the neighbor, Frank, a friendly retiree, open his door, saw the carolers begin to sing. After they finished, Frank applauded, said something cheerful, and closed his door. The carolers walked to the next house. But when Michael looked back at Frank's house, he saw something that made his stomach drop. Frank was standing at his window, watching the carolers leave. And Frank's expression wasn't pleasant or nostalgic. It was terrified. Michael grabbed his phone and called Frank's number. "Frank, it's Michael from next door. Did carolers just come to your house?" "Yeah." Frank's voice was shaky. "Michael, don't let them in. If they come back, don't let them in." "What do you mean?" "They were here 3 times last year," Frank said. 3 times on the same night. My wife was alive then. After the 3rd visit, she said she was going to step outside and tell them to stop. I told her not to, but she was always the brave one. Frank's voice broke. "She never came back in, Michael. I opened the door to look for her, and she was just gone. The carolers were gone. Everything was gone. Just snow and silence." "Did you call the police?" "Of course I did. They searched for weeks. No body, no footprints, nothing. It's like she walked out into the snow and ceased to exist." Michael's doorbell rang. "They're back," Michael whispered. "Frank, they're back." "Don't answer it," Frank said urgently. "Whatever you do, don't..." Michael hung up. He approached the door slowly. Through the peephole, he saw the 4 carolers. Same positions, same smiles. But this time, he noticed something he'd missed before. They cast no shadows under his porch light, and their breath, despite the freezing cold, created no fog in the air. The doorbell rang again, then again, then again, over and over, mechanical and insistent. Michael backed away from the door. He went to his back door, thinking he'd leave, get in his car, drive away. But when he looked out his back window, he saw them. 4 carolers standing in his backyard, different clothes, different faces, but the same empty expressions. And at his side door, 4 more carolers. He ran upstairs to his bedroom and looked out the window. The street was full of them. Dozens of carolers, standing in perfect rows, all facing his house. Some in Victorian clothing, some in modern winter coats, some in outfits from decades past. All of them holding candles, all of them smiling, none of them moving. Michael's phone rang, unknown number. Against his better judgment, he answered. "Hello, Michael." It was the woman caroler's voice. "Why won't you listen? What do you want?" "We want to sing for you. It's Christmas. Don't you want Christmas cheer?" "Stay away from my house." "But Michael," the voice said, "you're so alone. Your divorce was finalized 3 months ago. Your parents are across the country. You have no children, no siblings. No one is coming to see you this Christmas. How do you know that?" "We know everyone who's alone at Christmas," the voice said. "We know everyone who celebrates in isolation. Everyone who has no one to miss them if they disappear." Michael's blood ran cold. "That's who you take," he whispered. "That's who vanishes. People with no one to look for them. We prefer to think of it as bringing them home," the voice said. "To a Christmas that never ends, where they're never alone, where the carols never stop. I don't want your Christmas. But you're perfect for it, Michael. You'll see. After the 3rd visit, you'll understand. You'll want to come with us. They always do." "I've already had 3 visits." "No," the voice said, and Michael could hear the smile in it. "You've had 2. The doorbell rang. Michael looked at his phone. The call was still connected, but the voice was no longer coming from the phone. It was coming from his front door. "Good evening," he heard through the walls. "We're spreading Christmas cheer through the neighborhood. Would you like to hear a carol?" Michael didn't move. "Michael," the voice called, "we know you're home. We can feel you. Won't you open the door?" He stayed silent, backed into the corner of his bedroom. The doorbell rang again, and again, and again. For 2 hours, it rang without stopping. Then, at exactly 11 p.m., it stopped. The silence was worse than the ringing. Michael crept to his window and looked out. The street was empty. The carolers were gone. No footprints in the snow, no evidence they'd ever been there. But on his front door, written in frost that formed even though it wasn't cold enough, were 4 words. "Merry Christmas, Michael. Tonight." That was 2 nights ago. Michael hasn't been seen since. His parents called him on Christmas Eve. No answer. They called Christmas morning. No answer. They called the police, who did a wellness check this afternoon. The house was empty. No signs of struggle. The Christmas tree was still decorated. His laptop was open on the couch, playing this video. This exact video I'm recording right now. And on his dining room table, they found a single piece of sheet music. "God rest ye merry gentlemen," with a note attached in handwriting that wasn't Michael's. "He's home now. He's singing with us. He's never alone anymore." Now here's what I need you to understand. When I started researching these stories, I thought they were separate incidents, different phenomena, different entities. But as I dug deeper, I found connections. Sarah Mitchell from the first story. She lived in an apartment complex in Portland. I found old news articles. 3 years before her party, a man died in that building on December the 23rd, alone. No family. His body wasn't discovered for 2 weeks. His name was Edward Thorne. The same Edward Thorne who became the Santa at Pinewood Mall. And when I researched the mall, I found something else. In 2018, a woman named Jessica Winters worked at a store there. She reported seeing strange carolers in the parking lot on December 23rd. She followed them into the mall, trying to ask if they needed help. She was never seen again. Jessica Winters was the grandmother of the Jessica from Sarah's party. These stories are connected. These entities, whatever they are, they're drawn to December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, the darkest point of the Christmas season. They take different forms, gifts, Santas, carolers, but they're all the same thing. Something that feeds on isolation, on loneliness, on the people we forget during the holidays. And here's the part that kept me up all night. I recorded this video on December 23rd. I'm alone in my house. I've been researching these stories for 3 months, diving deep into every detail, every connection. And 10 minutes ago, while I was writing the ending to Michael's story, my doorbell rang. I didn't answer it, but I looked through the peephole. 4 carolers stood on my porch, and they were holding something. A mirror with a tarnished silver frame, sheet music for God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, and a small wooden box that played a broken melody. They're combining all the entities from all the stories. They're working together now, and I think I know why. Because I've been telling their stories. I've been spreading their legend, making more people aware of them. More people alone at Christmas, watching videos in the dark. People like you. I need to end this video now, not because I want to, but because I can hear them. They're singing outside my door. And God help me, it's beautiful. If you're watching this and it's December 23rd, check your doors, check your windows. And if you hear carolers singing, don't listen, don't let them in. And whatever you do, don't accept any gifts. Because Christmas isn't coming. It's already here. And it's hungry